Just tell me what amount of money you think is a lot. How much money would banks save if they switched to blockchain tomorrow? Yes? Does it mean $1 trillion? Is it less? Is it more? Well, I've already done all the work. I have all the facts. I have all the alpha. Guys, you don't need to go anywhere else. The FX market and how much money we could save by switching to XRP tomorrow will be talked about. We'll also look at the $21 trillion that have been moved around the world. In the way things work now, how much do people really pay to move that value? How much money would we save if we switch to blockchain like XRP tomorrow? The numbers are truly mind-blowing. Prepare yourself, folks. This video is going to be very full. That movie I just put out had pretty bad sound, so I'm recording it again because I worked so hard on putting it all together. Some of you asked me to record this again through direct message, and of course I'll do it because I love you and I want a lot of people to see this movie and understand how important it is. People talk a lot about why we should do things and other things, but it will blow your mind when you see the plain numbers about how much money people and businesses could start saving. It blew my mind. Let's get right to it. First, between $6.6 and $7.5 trillion are traded every day on the FX market. So let's use the average cost to figure out how much a trade costs on average, 0 to 0.02 cents, right? With those two pieces of information in hand, how big of the FX market do Ripple and XRP really cover? That's an important part of this. We need to replace an entire business with new technology. We need to make sure that we can reach people all over the world. You might be shocked by the number. Look at this. We've helped hundreds of customers since 2016 by giving them access to over 70 different payout markets, which is more than 90% of the global FX market. During that time, we handled over 27 million transactions, worth about $50 billion in nominal value. As Monica said yesterday, the best part is that customers don't have to pre-fund their bills for any of this to work. Okay, that means that buyers who are banks don't have to pre-fund either, right? That is lock up money all over the world. However, Ripple also covers 90% of the world through their partners, okay? 90%. But I've never seen a single company be able to cover so much land. Let's talk about the facts now. Okay, what fees do you usually have to pay when you make an FX payment? FX transaction fees, also known as global FX payments, are usually between 1% and 3% of the amount being sent. These fees can be grouped into two main groups. A lot of the time, payment companies like Visa and MasterCard charge fees of around 1%. There is also an extra 2% fee that card providers like Bank of America and Wells Fargo charge. It could be anywhere from 1% to 3% based on where you stand with that money. It can go up to 4% at times. We now have a better idea of how much these fees are. Let's also get a better idea of how many trades and other things we're talking about. When I said that the FX market process has an average of about $7.5 trillion a day, I meant that the fees are generally between 1% and 3%. How much money is that in fees every day, right? What kind of money is being made and how much are people being charged? To put it another way, if you take 7.5 trillion and do 2%, that's 150 billion a day, right? Isn't it true that these fees aren't charged for all foreign exchange? Let's just use a base here, right? There's no way for us to know where every dollar is because we can't look at every exchange. It's hard to find all that information because so many companies are interested in this. We'll just make do with what we have here. Okay, I also asked, how many trades happen every day in the FX markets? It also says that the average transaction size is around $1 million. That means that there should be around 7.5 million deals every day. After that, it says smaller trades, which I think means dominate, like $100,000 per deal. I wanted to know if there was a charge of 1% to 3% on foreign exchange fees instead of the one. Let us say that markets pay for those things with XRP instead of. Is it true that an XRP payment costs about 0.0020? That is true. Okay. How much would it cost each day to deal with the whole FX market? This number shocks me because every day we go from $150 billion to $1,500. Yes, $150 billion to $1,500. Okay, wait a minute. Let's do this really quickly. Okay, which number is that? 540 out of 54,000, 750 billion. If we multiply 150 billion a day by 365, is that $54 trillion? That's a lot of money compared to about $500,000 a year. It really is amazing how much cash you could save by using blockchain and XRP. So let's look at the bigger picture, shall we? Guys, I wanted to show you this because it's so important. The XRP record has 5,400 different pairs of money. FX transactions, cross-border transactions, and other things like that are hard because you need value on both sides of the deal. When you send pounds to dollars, you need pounds and dollars on both ends. If you have a bridge currency like XRP, you can exchange dollars for any other currency on the XRP system. Don't forget that the XRP system already has an index. In 2012, it was one of the first DEXs ever made. Now let's move on to some more facts. We know that every day, $21 trillion goes around the world. Let's find out more about the fees people will have to pay to move that much money. Because of this, there are many types of wired trades, as well as outgoing and incoming mobile money transfers and providers that specialize in these things. After that, let's take a moment to better understand what's going on. This means that it costs about $35 to $50 if you have a wire coming in. They charge you anywhere from $0 to $30 based on your bank. Then it says that the average free fee for sending $200 using a mobile money service around the world is about 12.35%. So if you send $200, you'll have to pay, $12.70 in fees just to send that much money? It says that mobile money is usually cheaper than other ways, with fees of 3.5% to 5% for transfers of $200 or more in 2024. We have a better idea of what these fees are now. Let's look into this a bit more. Do you know how many payments there are? The reason I asked was to find out how many payments are being made. This isn't really what I was looking for. Let's just skip that. It tells you how many things are moved every day and how much money is made in fees. First, listen, if you've made it this far, 8 minutes, please hit like and help the channel. Please think about joining if you haven't already. I promise that I will always be there for you and only tell you the truth in the world of XRP Ripple. CBDC, I love you. Okay, let's do it. So the total fees made from using $21 trillion, which is a bit more than the 6.5%. That's why you should know that it was 3.5% to 6.5%. It chose to use the 6.5%. If you cut any of these numbers in half, you'd get the lower amount of the fees, right? That's why it says $21 trillion or 6%, 1.35 trillion in fees are made every day around the world. In fees, this would cost about $670 billion a day if it were cut in half. Okay, I said, what if the XRP record was used to move the same amount of money? The cost of each payment is about 0.22. If you used XRP, how much money would you save? What you need is here. How much it costs per day? Yes? 1.365, very large. It would only cost you $4.5 billion a day to buy XRP. Savings of around $1.3 billion every day. Even if we only cut that in half, we'd still be saving more than $650 billion every day. The huge amount of money that could be saved every year is almost $500 trillion. Even if you cut that in half, you'd still save between $250 trillion. So I'll ask you the same question I did at the start. In what ways will this really hurt those banks? Yes? In the same way that anyone can look this information up, you can be sure that a bank with a full team of people and researchers can do the math. They know that using something like XRP can help them save a lot of money. It is out of this world. This is why Ripple has teamed up with so many banks and other financial companies. That's why some of the biggest banks and central banks in the world are looking at Ripple XRP. They know how simple and quick it is to change the number. When I made the first version of this movie a few days ago, I was taking my wife to work. She works at a bank in Honolulu. I asked, what happens when a customer wants to send money to France or somewhere else in the world? She said that their bank uses tracks from Citibank's. So if their bank wanted to use Citibank's tracks, they would have to pay Citibank a fee. Her bank is the first Hawaiian bank here in Hawaii. After that, it takes 2 or 3 days. No one can find the money after the check has been sent. Money that is sent around the world may have to go through several banks in several countries before it gets to its final location. That's how SWIFT works. It was SWIFT 50 years ago, but is clearly slow now, and SWIFT has worked to make their payments faster with SWIFT GPI. The trouble is that the fees are still coming in. You could make SWIFT as fast as XRP, but you would still not save nearly as much money as you would if you use digital assets. And you can be sure that banks know this stuff. Also, if you look at JP Morgan Chase, their bank handles